it's not beautiful. They have cars in the parking lot. What a deal, I'll tell you, what a deal. Biden supported every disastrous global sellout for half a century, including a NAFTA. China, you take a look at China's entry into the World Trade Organization and TPP. He supported them all. Biden surrendered your jobs to China, and you know that. I probably wouldn't be here if it weren't for that. It was one of the big things, one of the big reasons I decided to say to my great wife, our First Lady, let's go have some fun. Let's go have some fun. And she's done a great job and very popular, and the family is all over the place, all over the country. But unlike Joe, who let you down when he never even came back to Milwaukee to apologize or just to pay respects, I came to Wisconsin, and I've been here a lot since we started this. And you've been a tremendous beneficiary of what I've done, and I have to, because you've been with me, you supported me, and we've had great victories together, all victories. So I want to thank you. But now, Biden wants to surrender our country to the violent left-wing mob. You see what's happening. If Biden wins, very simple, China wins. If Biden wins, the mob wins. If Biden wins, the rioters, anarchists, arsonists, and flag burners, they win. And we're not into flag burners. We don't like flag burners. I'd like to say pass a law, 1 year in jail, you start burning flags, we put you in jail for a year. We should do that. They would have done that. It's a different world, I guess, but it's sort of coming back to the way we have to have it because we're for law and order.
Okay.
They say don't use that term, it's too tough. No, everybody wants law and order. Minorities want law and order. Everybody wants law and order. They have to have it. I'm running for the re-election, and a very important re-election to bring jobs and factories back, and that's a continuation because I don't know if you know it, the single greatest year Wisconsin has ever had was last year. The second best year that Wisconsin has ever had was the year before. And guess what the third was the year before that? And you're going to have your best year economically next year. It's all heading in that direction. Despite the pandemic given to us by China. But we want to put the violent criminals behind bars, and we have to ensure the future belongs to America, not to China, not to other very terrible forces out there. Because if we win, very simply, America wins, and that's what we.
Nếu mà chúng ta thắng thì nước Mỹ sẽ chiến thắng. Các bạn đang xem buổi phát biểu của Tổng thống Donald Trump tại phi trường của tiểu bang Wisconsin. Ông đang có buổi vận động cho cái buổi kỳ bầu cử của mình.
Brought back our manufacturing jobs, rebuilt the awesome power of the U.S. military, and obliterated the ISIS caliphate. We obliterated it.
Chúng ta đã xây dựng lực lượng quân đội của mình vững mạnh và tiêu diệt khủng bố ISIS. By a record of $4,400 in just 1 year, achieving the highest median income in U.S. history. That's in the history of our country. In the first 3 years, we lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty, the largest poverty reduction of any president in the history of our country. That's not bad. And I didn't even make these numbers up. These are numbers that they sound good to me. We built the greatest economy in the history of the world. Chúng ta đã xây dựng nền kinh tế Hoa Kỳ vững mạnh nhất thế giới. Rồi sau đó thì virus đến
2 million, 3 million, a number that would not be sustainable, would not be acceptable, a horrible number. There shouldn't have been one person that died. It should have been stopped in China. They stopped it for their country, but it came out to us, to Europe, to the rest of the world, 188 countries. We will deliver a safe and effective vaccine before the end of the year, and it could be very, very soon. You've been seeing where it's going. It could be very, very soon. Could be. It's amazing how all of a sudden they hate the vaccine. When they thought it couldn't be done, they said, well, you kids got to get a vaccine. And then all of a sudden, they're looking like it's going to be very close. We're doing great. We're doing great with vaccines and therapeutics, remdesivir, all sorts of other things that are bringing the rates down like at numbers that nobody can believe. But we have 3 vaccines right now. They're in the final stage, clinical trials. We worked it for the FDA where they approved it fast. They were very fast, very quick, at levels that nobody else could have ever achieved. No other administration, certainly the last one, because the last one was grossly incompetent. In fact, that's why I'm here. Because if it was good, I wouldn't have run.
Đó là lý do tôi xây dựng nước Mỹ cho vĩ đại và lý do tôi có mặt ở đây để vận động các bạn.
So we'll defeat the virus, and next year will be truly, I think, from an economic standpoint.
Để mà chúng ta đánh bại virus coronavirus đầu thì năm tới chúng ta sẽ phát triển rất là mạnh.
We've had retail sales numbers the best ever. You see them all; they come out every day. And our stock market is, for the most part, at a new high.
Đó, anh thấy là thị trường chứng khoán là tăng rất là nhiều, rất là cao.
Like to depression levels, I think you should vote for Sleepy Joe because he's going to raise your interest. He'll be raising your interest rates. You know, I watch him though; he's denying all this stuff. You know, everything that he said, he's now denying. He said no fracking, right? There will be no fracking. He didn't know what fracking was, but he said there's no fracking. The reason is because everybody else, all of the radical left candidates up there, they couldn't get too far left. So Joe agreed. Then he gets the nomination. Now they're all angry, you know, that crazy Bernie, all of the left Democrats, they don't...
Các bạn thấy Bernie điên khùng và đảng Dân Chủ là trái.
He said, well, now we can do some fracking. But you know, remember this in politics. It's always the thing that they stay first. That's what they're going to do.
Và các bạn có thể thấy đây là về chính trị, họ có thể nói những gì họ nói nhưng mà họ không có làm.
Remember that. Remember, he put Beto in charge of his gun policy, right? Beto, crazy Beto. Remember when Beto went out? He said, "I was born for this," and that's when it all came down. As soon as I heard that, anybody said they were born for this, it doesn't play well. But he's in charge of the Second Amendment, and you won't have a Second Amendment. Frankly, you wouldn't have a Second Amendment if I didn't get elected. It would have been obliterated. It would have been torn up. Maybe it would have been totally knocked out. But there's tremendous pressure on your Second Amendment. As long as I'm here, you'll always have a Second Amendment.
Về cái điều hiến pháp thứ hai về sử dụng súng thì tôi nếu có mặt vẫn còn tại chức thì tôi vẫn ủng hộ cái quyền sở hữu súng của các bạn.
And then they go with it. They make up a totally phony story. It's called disinformation. And one of the things, what they did, the worst of all was the soldiers, because nobody loves our soldiers like I do. And they made up a phony deal. And that's why I say the gloves are off, because, you know, when they do that, that's worse than what I'm going to talk to you about. That's Big Ten. You know, we got it back, right? We got Big Ten.
Và tôi nói về 10 đội bóng về bóng football, họ sẽ trở lại trong vài ngày tới.
I can now call him grossly incompetent. The man is incompetent. He's been there for 47 years. He didn't do a thing. Now all of a sudden, in years where he was never considered smart, but now he's really not considered smart. And now all of a sudden he's going to do what he never did in 47 years. He's going to do this and that and everything that I'm doing, everything that we're doing. But I want to congratulate the Big Ten Conference on yesterday's announcement that the fall season will start.
Và tôi xin chúc mừng hôm qua buổi họp với cái nhóm 10 đội thì họ sẽ quay lại trở lại vào mùa fall để thi đấu giải football.
Wisconsin's own Barry Alvarez. He was great. Good. Got to be careful when you do that. You know, a lot of times you don't like people too much. They say, oh, we don't. But he's a good man. We worked with him. We worked with a whole group, including the commissioner of the league, did a very, very good job. Did a very good job. But we called them, and the reason is that they took an ad. In other words, disinformation. They took an ad saying I was against football. I'm the one that said they shouldn't close. But I said that, you know, if they close, they close. But then they took an ad saying I'm the one, I didn't want it. I wanted it closed. So then I said, well, no, I don't. I want it open. Let me call up the commissioner. We called up the commissioner. And he was great. He said, you really think so? And bottom line, we worked very hard. Lots of calls to lots of different states, lots of people. We dealt with the players, the parents of the players who are really the boss.
Các bạn đã biết là tôi làm việc rất nhiều đối với những đội bóng rồi hiệp hội để họ trở lại thi đấu vào mùa fall này. Và tôi muốn họ, những người chơi, những người vận động viên thi đấu sẽ phải tự hào về cái quốc ca khi mà hát lên. Mọi người phải thể hiện lòng yêu nước.
In fact, sometimes I have to turn it off. I can't do it anymore. I can't watch me. I can't watch me. I can't watch. But no, we have enough politics. We don't want to watch now on Sunday. Oh, here we go again with the politics.
Chúng ta có đó đủ quá nhiều về chuyện chính trị rồi. Chúng ta không muốn là chính trị và thể thao, và chỉ muốn vào chủ nhật và những vận động viên, những đội nhà nghề football chơi và chúng ta xem vậy thôi.
But people don't want to see it, and the ratings are down. Here we go again. You know, I thought we taught them that lesson 2 years ago, didn't we think? I thought we taught that lesson. But Biden would absolutely eradicate your state's economy. I know the state very well. It's one of the reasons I made the great deal with Canada and Mexico, but Canada, because they were taking advantage of you so badly.
Và chúng ta đã ký hợp ước với Mỹ, Mexico và Canada.
Canada is one of the toughest negotiators, and they treated your state and this country very unfairly until I came along.
Đặc biệt là Canada đã có những hiệp hội thương mại đối với Mỹ mà không có công bằng. Và tôi đã ký những hiệp ước về kinh tế rất là có lợi cho nước Mỹ.
It's a small little grouping of milks, specialty milk. But this was the final straw. And I met some people, and Canada finally did it to them like they did it to everybody else. And they raised the tariffs massively. They made it impossible. They tried to take over that business too, along with all of the other dairy products, where it was just massive and horrible what they did. And that really got me going. The little specialty milk, specialty products, a small portion, but you know what? That was it. And we have a great deal. The USMCA is a great deal.
Và cuối cùng chúng ta đã có những cái thỏa thuận thương mại rất là tốt đối với Canada.
And the way you were taken advantage of by Canada. You know, they have the wonderful, "Oh Canada, we love to hear the song," right? But let me tell you, they are very tough, and they've taken advantage of our country for many, many years.
Cũng như Canada đã rất là khôn ngoan và họ đã tận dụng hàng năm về cái quyền lợi về kinh tế và họ lợi dụng chúng ta. Bây giờ chúng ta cân bằng lại thương mại mậu dịch.
Where we lose tax, we lose jobs, we lose our companies, we lose everything. And they make a lot of money selling the product to us. Same product So we're not doing that stuff anymore. There's a tremendous disincentive. It's called like, let's not do it. And you haven't seen that.
Chúng ta hãy tăng thuế hàng từ Canada, vì không có thuế thì chúng ta không có tạo ra việc kinh tế cũng như không có tạo ra việc làm.
So on the statues, they were knocking them down 3 or 4 months ago. I said, do we have any laws? No. But there was a very old law. I said, what was it? You get 10 years in jail, 10 years in prison. They actually use the word prison, which is a tough word. You get 10 years in prison if you knock down a statue or a monument. I said, let me see that law. I want to see that law. Right? Glenn, right? I want to see that law. Where's Duffy? Is he there too? Oh, look at the guy. He's climbing trees tomorrow. And Rachel. Oh, Rachel. He was a good climber. You think he could climb up a tree faster than me? I think so. So I just want to tell you, so what we've done in a very, very short period of time is what nobody thought. And we came in and we did it, and we did it for you, and we did it for everybody. We did it for our country. But we wouldn't have a country left. What was happening to our country, how we were taking advantage, now we have to get 4 more years to cement it and to do additional things, including tax cuts. They're going to raise your taxes. They're going to raise your taxes very substantially. We're cutting your taxes. We got you the biggest tax cut in history. And we're going down.
Nếu mà chúng tôi vẫn làm chúng làm tổng thống thì tôi sẽ giảm thuế cho các bạn.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So big tax cuts, big regulation cuts. The Democrats, they want to just really break us down in terms of our competitive ability to compete with other nations. Do you notice what's happening with Japan? Do you notice what's happening? We have taken billions and billions of dollars in from China. We charge them a fortune. In fact,
bạn thấy chúng ta đã thu thuế Trung Quốc cả hàng tỷ đô từ Trung Quốc.
12 billion. Sonny Perdue, Secretary of Agriculture. I said, Sonny, how much have they been hit for, targeted for? Remember when China said, we're not going to do anything, we're not buying, they thought they were going to put pressure on us. Sonny said, sir, 12 billion the year before last, and last year was 16, total of 28 billion. We took 28 billion out of the tariffs. China never paid us 10 cents. Not 10 cents with Obama and Biden. And in all fairness, with no president, they paid us nothing. They pay us now tens of billions of dollars. I took a small portion of it. I added it up, 16 and 12, 28. And I said, $28 billion is going to the farmers. Did everybody get that money, right? You had a very good year. The farmers have had a very good year. Last week, China ordered, and you have to understand, I view China differently now than I did 6 months ago. We made a great trade deal, but I view it differently because I don't know if I can ever view it the same. But last week, they know how I feel, and they're very smart. So instead of saying, we're not going to do business, which would have been okay with me, we would have worked it out somehow. You would have been very successful, the farmers. But last week, they had the largest order of corn. Did you know this? In the history of our country. Did anyone know this? The farmers? From China. Thank you very much.
Tuần trước thì tôi đã có một cái thỏa thuận thương mại đối với những nông trại buôn bán hàng nông sản đối với Trung Quốc, mà là một thỏa thuận rất là lớn mà có lợi cho những người nông dân.
Somebody else would have said, well, let's not do business, and then it would have been easy for me. But they gave us so much. I have every farmer calling up saying, please do me a favor. We love this. We love this. This is a great deal. It's a great deal, but we feel differently about it, don't we? We just feel differently about it. I don't talk about it like I used to. I talked about it. It was great, and it turned out to be a great deal, but I don't talk about it the same way. At no time before has there been a clearer choice between two parties, two visions, two philosophies, or two agendas for the future than these two parties. You got law and order on one side and you have chaos on the other. On November 3rd, Wisconsin will decide whether we will quickly return to record prosperity or whether we will allow Biden and the Democrats to impose a $4 trillion tax hike, ban American energy, confiscate your guns, which is what they want to do, shut down the economy, destroy the suburbs. You know they were destroying our suburbs. You know that, right? I don't know. Somebody said, you're just doing okay in the suburbs. I said, how can I do okay? I saved the suburbs. What I've done is save the suburbs. And you know this, I don't have to go into it, but I saved the suburbs. I think the suburbs, you know that last time, 4 years ago, oh, he's not going to do well with women. I did great with women. They said, what a big thing. Remember that? Electioneering. He won't do well. This will be a very short. Not doing well with women. I did great. They said at the end of the night, after they announced I won, they said, what happened? Well, he did very well with women. I don't know how it happened there. They said he did very well with African-American community. He did very well with Hispanic. They said he did very well with everything. We kicked their ass. That was it. No, but was that one of the greatest evenings ever? Remember? And remember all the fake news? Look at all the, oh, lie. That's a lie. Whoa. That's a lot of people back there. Look at that. The red lights are on. Don't worry. I won't say anything bad about you, CNN. Because as soon as I'm getting ready to say something about fake news, etc., the lights start going off. So I'm not going to say, whoop, one just went off. You can tell by the lights. They got that little beautiful red light. You see it? But I won't say anything bad about it. But they are fakers. And do you remember when they were saying that the polls are terrible? Actually, these polls are very good compared. That was so bad, it was like, why did anybody vote? They're called suppression polls. They make them so bad that you lose all your appetite, you lose all your spirit, they take your guts out, and you don't go and vote. And your wife looks at you and said, darling, I love that guy, but he's not going to win. He doesn't have a chance because the polls, he's down 10, he's down 20, he's down 50 points, darling. He can't possibly win. Let's go have dinner and then we'll come home and watch his concession speech. But my people didn't buy that because my people went out to vote. And instead, we watched her concession speech. That was Crooked Hillary. That was a real piece of work. Remember when she was saying, will you accept the decision of the voters? Will you accept that decision? And I didn't, I wasn't perfect. I said, I'll see how it works out. I mean, I should have said, yes, I will, but I couldn't do that because I know how crooked she is, right? Would you accept the decision? And, and then the anchor said to me, like, well, will you accept? They're coming after me. I said, you're supposed to be going after her a little bit too. Did you ever see debates where you had all of the anchors plus the candidates against me?
Các bạn thấy một cuộc tranh luận nào mà tất cả các người điều khiển và các người khác tấn công tôi không?
A lot of times I'd say to the anchor, I'd say, wait a minute, this isn't fair. I mean, I'm watching what they're doing with Biden where he's using teleprompters. Move it up, I can't see. He's shot. No. President Xi of China is not shot. Putin is not shot. Kim Jong-un, remember we're supposed to be in a war with him. What happened to the war? We're not, no, it seems to be good. Did you see the Middle East 2 days ago? Remember our incompetent negotiator, John Kerry? He never got up to walk. The guy's getting beaten on every point. I say, walk, get up and leave the table. You're giving up. They'd say, we want this. He'd say, well, I'd rather not. We want this. Okay, you got it. We want that. You got it. We want that. Say no and walk. They'll possibly call you back. And if they don't, that's okay too. But right now, I will tell you, Iran, if we win, Iran will be calling us within the first week. They're dying to make a deal. GDP down 27%. they don't have too much money for terror anymore. It's actually amazing. You notice what's going on?
Nói chung đó là nếu mà tôi thắng thì Iran không có cơ hội
But I did put out
để
on social
đe dọa
media
nước
the
Mỹ,
election
và
anyway.
cái nền kinh tế của Iran đang rất là sụp đổ, họ không còn đủ nền kinh tế để phát triển khủng bố nữa.
1,000 times harder than we've ever hit them before. So hopefully they will just come and we'll make a deal and they'll go back to being a rich country. Let them go back and be rich, but they cannot have a nuclear weapon. They cannot. That deal was so bad that Obama made $150 billion. They got $150 billion for nothing. You know, the deal is practically, if I didn't terminate it, which I'm proud to have done, but if I didn't terminate it, and they got $1.8 billion in cash, how about that? If I didn't terminate that stupid deal, first of all, you wouldn't have the deal in the Middle East, and all these countries are joining us, happening fast. They're all wanted. They want to all join. We did it, you know, the reverse. We did it the reverse. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You know, it's interesting. Thank you very much. I knew I liked you. You know, so the Nobel Peace Prize. So the funny thing, a lot of people don't know because the fake news doesn't write about it. So if you're a president, right, and you are nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, you're the United States. No, but think of this. That's a big deal. I mean, Obama got it like in his first couple of weeks, and nobody knew why he got it, including him. Remember, he couldn't tell you why. He had no idea. To this day, he has no idea why he got it. But if you're a president and you get nominated, then 2 days later, you get nominated. Did you know this? The second time for a different deal. Kosovo. Serbia. They've been killing each other for hundreds of years. I stopped a lot of death, and I did it like easy. It wasn't hard for me. It's sort of a natural thing to do. But we did a good thing. But you know what? They did a check. So I got nominated twice for the Nobel Peace Prize. That's a big deal. I don't know.
Tôi được ứng cử 2 lần cho giải Nobel.
I should have gotten nominated 7 times because we did a lot of other things. But these are for 2 different deals. And not one mention was made on the evening news. Think of it. Now, when Obama got it, it was headlines. Our president just got
Khi Obama được giải Nobel Hòa bình thì các báo chí bỏ lên trên hàng đầu.
And his vice president, I'll tell you what, his vice president was very good for, you know who? For Hunter. Where's Hunter? Remember the quid pro quo? Remember, I have not given them that $1 billion unless you get rid of that prosecutor. And whoa, they got rid of the prosecutor. Here's the $1 billion, right? But they don't want to play that too often. You know, you have to look around for it. No, it's a very unfair deal. But as the expression goes, we won. I don't know how the hell we did it, if you think about it. When you look at the opposition, when you look at how unfair it is, and these guys know very well, you look at how unfair it is, it's pretty damn good. But we have a lot of support. We have tremendous support of the people. These rallies, look at this rally. These rallies.
Có ai coi buổi vận động hội nghị ở đây không? Rất là đông.
Sean, I think these rallies, I think there's more spirit this year than there was 4 years ago, and we had a record. Right? There's more enthusiasm. I think it's the biggest enthusiasm gap ever polled. I mean, again, I'm not a believer in the polls, but I believe that one, it's the biggest enthusiasm gap. He's got no enthusiasm. The only enthusiasm is for the people that want to beat us. They want to beat me. That's the only thing he's got. The people that want to, they couldn't care less about him. He could be that piece of wood that was left on the ground. Biden will hand the left-wing mob the keys to your kid's classroom. Earlier today, I took a historic stand against the hateful lies being fed to America's youth. The parents know all about it. And I checked. They're doing it in Wisconsin too. I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised. I know you. I'm a little surprised you let it happen, actually. But we're going to get rid of it. I announced that we're launching a new pro-American lesson plan for students called 1776 Commission. We're going to teach our children the truth about America, that we're the most exceptional nation ever to exist, and we're getting better every single day. Sleepy Joe Biden is wholly owned and controlled by the far left. He even opposed sending the National Guard into a place called Kenosha. Did you ever hear of Kenosha? How about that? Did we do a good job? Now, I wish we did it a little sooner, but we finally got your governors okay. You know, we have to do that. If we got to get the governors to say, please do it. How they don't do it in some other places when you look at what's going on with Chicago, right? When you look at what's going on with Portland, those are just anarchists. You know how long it would take us to fix up Portland in terms of ending it all? I'd say far less than an hour. I'd say a half hour. Look at what we did at Minneapolis. You know, we're doing well in Minnesota because they saw what happened. Now, they shouldn't have allowed it to go on for 11 days. They should have called us immediately. But you remember that beautiful night? Nice evening. A little problem. There were a lot of buildings in the background that were burning down to the ground. As reporters said, no, this is a peaceful protest, okay? By the way, officially, this is called a protest. You know that. We no longer call it rallies. We don't use the term rally, okay? Rachel knows. We don't call them rallies anymore because, you know, you're not allowed to have a political rally for more than 10 people. You're not allowed to go to church. You're not allowed to meet. You're not allowed to talk to anybody. You have to stay in a prison. Your home has become your prison. And then I'm saying, well, what are you allowed to do? Sir, you're not allowed to do anything. I mean, there is one thing, but it doesn't pertain to you. What is it? Well, you are allowed to protest. Oh, really? Oh. Hence the name. We call them friendly protests. So these are protests, so it's totally allowed. This is a protest. Remember, when you walk outside, what do you consider this? Did you enjoy the rally? No, this is a protest. I'm sorry. No, they had a little line at the bottom. I don't know if it's your state, but a couple of them you're allowed to protest. So you can't go to church, but you can rip the hell out of the streets of Main Street or Fifth Avenue, break up the stores, burn down the buildings, climb over each other's face. You can climb right over their face. You don't have to wear masks. You don't have to do anything. 25,000 people walking down the street. Looters, anarchists, agitators, burning down stores, throwing things at police. They've taken the authority away from our police, our great police. They've taken their authority and their dignity away. We're giving it back. We have to. We have to. By the way, I was endorsed by New York's finest, and we're with them all the way. I was just endorsed 2 days ago by Chicago police. I think that takes courage, right? Philadelphia, Florida, Texas, everybody, Ohio. I don't know, is there one group of, even if it was a tiny little group of 2 or 3 police, did anybody endorse Sleepy Joe? I don't think so. But we did a great job in Kenosha. We got out there. I went there, as you know, a little while ago, but had we not gone in, that place would have been burned to the ground. They did damage. We should have gone in. I wanted to go in the first night. We would have stopped it immediately. But it was a great outcome, as was in Minnesota. Again, if they would have called us early, it would have been over. Portland, I'd love to go there. That would be so easy. You know, in Seattle, they heard we were coming in. They gave up. I said, that's enough. We're going in. I don't care. We're going in. Do you have permission? No, we're going in. They took over a chunk of the city. And when they heard we were going in, it's like, well, we give up. That was the end of the Seattle problem. Now it's a terrible thing that's going on. All in Democratic-run, super liberal-run cities. They're red. The red cities are doing great. I think we're doing great all over. The Republican cities, you know, we're fair. We're not stupid. How stupid these people are. Did you see Chicago? 48 people shot. 6 died. You know, we're in Afghanistan. We're pulling the troops. You know that. We're coming back. We're almost finished. We're pulling, finally, these endless wars. These endless wars. And we had to fight other things, but we've done a great job. But we're acting like a police force over there. No, we're pulling troops. We're almost out of Iraq. That's another one. We're down to about 2,000 troops. Did you know that, John? 2,000 troops. So Syria, we're out, but we kept the oil. So we have some. Was it okay that we at least kept the oil? You know, I feel badly because we have some troops. Well, you haven't pulled the troops. I said, no, we're gone. We pulled all the troops out of Syria. Remember, we were supposed to be guarding the border between Syria and Turkey. I said, why are we doing that? They said, well, you know, we are. I said, wait a minute, we have an army of 100,000 here, an army of 25, 30,000 here. We got 5,000 soldiers in them. That's a very dangerous position to be in. I don't like it. They've been guarding their own borders with different names for 1,000 years. Why the hell do we have to be over there guarding their border? We want to guard our own borders, right? Where we're doing very well. We're doing great on our southern border. You know, I hate to say this, but that wall is going up very rapidly, 10 miles a week. We're up to 330 miles. And the wall will be finished very soon. You think that was easy? That was not easy. Our great congressman over here. That was not easy. The Democrats were totally in favor of the wall until I said, when I came in, we will build the wall. As soon as I said it, they were against the wall. They said, we don't want you to build a wall. Walls don't work. I said, no, walls always work. You know what else works? The wheel in the wall. You can go back, come back in 1,000 years from now. The only two things I know for sure, you're going to have a wheel and you're going to have a wall. The computers, they come up with a brand new computer. It's genius. 12 days later, it's obsolete. But walls are never obsolete. Neither are wheels. So I made one mistake. And I tell this to these guys because they were great warriors for me, the congressmen. They were incredible, actually. I tell it to them. I should have said, instead of, we will build a wall, we will build a wall, we will build. Then the Democrats held us up and fought us and sued us and everything else. And now we won so many lawsuits on the wall, and we had the military money. I could build like 10 walls with all the money we have. It's the craziest thing. Maybe we'll build it double thick, or we'll go twice as high. No, but the wall is great. Everything that they wanted. But I made one mistake. I should have said, we will not build a wall. Then they would have insisted that we build it. I could have saved 2 years of litigation. We will not build a wall under any circumstances. Then Pelosi would say, we demand that you build a wall. These people are terrible. Crazy Nancy, crazy as a bedbug. She's crazy as a bedbug. She decided to make a nice little stop in at the beauty parlor. How did that work out? Not too good. It didn't work out too well. Can you imagine? The owner of the beauty parlor is a MAGA lady. She loves Trump. Oh, can you believe it? And I don't know what it is, but I think if I owned a beauty parlor, I had a customer, I'm not so sure I'd be turning her in. The owner turned Nancy in. That's a lot of hate. That's serious hate, right? No, she's a great owner. As far as I'm concerned, I think she's fantastic. She's for us. They said, what made you do it? You know what she said? Because I see how hard our president has to work. I see what they put him through. I see what he puts up with. And I turned her in. You know that? How about that? How about that, huh? Oh, we love her. She can do my hair anytime. I think I'm going to call her in. Check it out. Maybe you can do something. Maybe you can improve it. It's not bad, though. I have friends my age. They're not looking too good. Instead of standing up for America, Joe Biden and the Democrats, they condemn America. And war is always waged on our great law enforcement. We love our law enforcement. Kamala Harris. That's another great beauty. Kamala Harris. That's a beauty. Remember, I tell the story all the time. When you pick somebody that's hot, that's going in the right direction, right? She came out. She was at like 14, 15 in the polls. And she started going down, down, down. It never stopped. It drove her crazy. She was terrible in the debates. When you see what, well, I don't want to put pressure on her, but when you see what Mike Pence does to her in the debate. But I don't want to put, I don't want to put pressure. Poor, Mike, do we have a great vice president? Is it?
Tôi không tạo áp lực đối với bà Kamala Harris, nhưng mà ông phó tổng thống ông Mike Pence sẽ debate, để tranh luận với bà Kamala Harris.
That one wasn't good. The other guy's jumping around. Rah, rah, rah. Mike is just sitting there. We love America. We're going to lower your taxes. Thank you. You win. No, Mike is great. But Kamala Harris and 13 members of Biden's staff urged their supporters to donate to a fund to bail out rioters, take them out of jail, get them out of jail as soon as possible, including one who attempted to murder a police officer and a man who was accused of sexually assaulting an 8-year-old girl. This is what we're dealing with. This is what we're dealing with. You know, Kamala is considered further left than Crazy Bernie. Think of that. And they got there. I mean, seriously, watch. You know the manifesto that Biden, it's not Biden. Biden's not agreeing to anything. His people, his representatives, because Biden doesn't know he's alive. Let's not get ourselves. Biden didn't agree. He didn't. They just told him what's happening. They said, listen, you're against fracking, but now you have to be in favor of fracking because you lucked out. Elizabeth Warren decided not to drop out. And when she stayed, Pocahontas, you know Pocahontas? Did anybody ever hear of her? She's another great one. Pocahontas. I said to her a long time ago, I've got more Indian blood in me than you do, and I have none. I have none. Sadly, I'd love a little bit of it, but I have none. I said I have, and I turned out to be right. She choked, and she went for a blood test. Remember, what was it? 1,024. Meaning maybe 900 years ago. There was an action going on. Crazy Pocahontas. She's a nasty one, though, isn't she? She's a terrible person. I was hoping that she'd win so we could go after her, you know, because I think Kamala is not as smart, but she's a little bit less vicious. I think this, the one who treated Sleepy Joe the worst was Kamala. She accused him of Me Too. She accused him of everything. She accused him of that he was a racist, right? That he was a racist. Because what he's done to the black population of this country was a terrible thing. She's accused him of everything under the book. The busing, remember the busing scandal? So I said brilliantly, he'll never pick her because she was too terrible to him. She was the worst of everybody, by far, I would say. But she picked him, and hopefully that's going to be history. It's not going to matter. And that is no way for a woman to become the first president, that's for sure. And if a woman is going to become the first president of the United States, it can't be her. That would rip our country apart. This is not what people want. And she comes in through the back door. This would not be what people want, especially because it's her. Biden has called to end cash bail, you know that, right, for vicious criminals? Meaning if you assault a cop or anybody else, you're right back on the street the next day. He called for police, and he calls them all the time the enemy. He says they're the enemy. And he just thinks it's terrible. He thinks it's terrible. Now he's liking the police much more. It's a little late. Remember, first instinct, that's where they're going. And he has no choice because he has to. Because, again, I was going to say, the radical left hates him because they think he deceived them, because they agreed on that manifesto. And that manifesto is seriously a leftist dream. And he agreed from the Green New Deal, getting rid of your planes, no more airplane trips. Remember the crazy senator from Hawaii? Do you like the Green New Deal? I love it very much, she said. Oh, okay, well, you're the senator from Hawaii. That's right, the beautiful island of Hawaii. She said, well, you know, under the Green New Deal, you basically can't fly in an airplane. Oh, that's a problem. So they said they'd build a bridge from the mainland to Hawaii. It's 2,000 miles long, but these are minor details. Now, remember her when they explained to her that, you know, planes are out, cows are out, cows. They don't want cattle, they don't want cows. Did they withdraw that one? That was a tough one, wasn't it? They don't want cows, bad for the ozone layer. Who would even think of that? I mean, you gotta be sick to even think it, okay? Give me a break. Give me a break. And I guess under that theory, this big guy is next. He's next. No, it's a sick deal going out there. You know, to do it the way they want would cost $100 trillion. That's more money than this country could earn in 1,000 years, okay? To do it right. We don't like that building. The windows are too large. Oh, okay, let's rip it down and build a new one. What windows are you going to have? We're not going to have windows anymore. Environmental. So it's, you know, they love wind too, right? The big windmills, I always say, the greatest graveyard in the world for birds. Just walk under a windmill. You will see more dead birds than you will ever imagine. What's happening, including eagles. You know, in California, they put you in jail if you shoot a bald eagle, right? You go to jail, right? These windmills are knocking them out of the sky all day long. It's unbelievable. And yet they want wind. And wind also is it's very hard to store the electricity from wind. So if you go home and you want to watch television because President Trump is on and you want to watch one of his very brilliant State of the Union addresses, if the wind isn't blowing, the husband looks at the wife and says, darling, I'm sorry, you can't watch tonight. The wind is not blowing. And she looks at him, I like the old days much better. But the rhetoric of Biden and the radical left puts your law enforcement in serious danger. Last weekend, 2 Los Angeles sheriff's deputies were ambushed and shot at point blank range. And we have everybody looking for that creep that did it. And you know, I called him an animal the other night. I said he's an animal. And we were challenged by some people on the left. He's not an animal, he's a human being. He's not a human being. They gotta find him. They gotta find him. And penalty has to be very fast, very swift, and very, very severe. Can't do that. You know, we called for the death penalty if you kill a policeman. You know that, right? But the anti-police demonstrators, they cheered and cheered when they saw this, and then they tried to stop them from even getting into the hospital. As president, I'll always support the heroes of law enforcement, and I'll fight to ensure that criminals who murder police officers do indeed get the death penalty. You know, they want prisoners to vote too. They wanted, I said, so what about like the Boston bomber? Remember Bernie Sanders? They want all prisoners to vote. And I said, does that mean everybody? Yes. So we sent in a question. Does that include the Boston bomber? Is he entitled to a vote? And even Bernie's going like, oh man, let's get into a different question. It's not a good question. But we want to get that. We want to take care of it. If you look at all of the problems that we have, you look at crime, even somebody brought it up today. We're doing a great job relative to other countries on the coronavirus. You know how many names we have? Like 22 different names. I call it the China virus. We're doing a great job. But if you want to really see a great job, take New York and some of these other Democrat-run states out of it. You'll see numbers that are unbelievable. Because New York had a very, very hard time. A lot of bad things happened. But you take a few of the states out, and you'll really see numbers. But by comparison to other countries and by almost all metrics, we've done an incredible job, including the job of helping the world with ventilators and all of the things that we've built. And I think our task force has been incredible, and Mike Pence has done a great job. Biden opposes the death penalty for cop killers or mass murderers. Biden says he wants to protect black lives, but his radical platform will cut short the lives of thousands of African American citizens. The Democrat Party's war on cops has already led to surging homicides in Democrat-controlled cities. Yet Biden supports imposing these failed policies nationwide. They ask him, what about nationwide? What about the fact that you just had your Democrat National Convention, where, by the way, we had far many more views, millions and millions more views. We had millions and more. I thought it was a great thing. Did anybody hear Herschel Walker that night? It was, well, you talk about a good football player. He was some player, and what a great guy. But all of them, everybody. First Lady did great. Ivanka did great. They all did. They did great. We had some incredible stories, some very sad stories when you look and see what happened. But Biden's plan is to appease the domestic terrorists. My plan is to arrest the domestic terrorists. Joe Biden is a weak person. He's always been a weak person. And that was in prime time. And prime time was 25 years ago. And let me tell you, he's not old. I always defend him in this. I have friends that are 85, 89, 92, 95, and they're 100%. There's just something wrong with Joe. He's off. Okay? He's off. And I have no problem saying it anymore when I watch the disinformation, because this is not disinformation. This is fact. If he's elected, his radical supporters won't just be causing mayhem on the streets. They'll be running the Department of Justice, Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Education, and most importantly, they will put many judges on the United States Supreme Court. We can't have that. We'll have a totally different country. Radical left judges. And that has to do with your Second Amendment. It has to do with right to life. It has to do with so many different things that will turn your world. And they'll have 1, 2, 3, or 4. Whoever's the next president, hopefully that's going to be us, not me, us. It's us. But you know, think of this, by the end of the term, we'll have approximately 300 brand new great federal judges, Court of Appeals judges, 300, which is a record. 300, give or take a little tiny bit, but 300, nobody thought that was possible. I want to thank President Obama. He left us 142 openings. Nobody gets left one opening. A federal judgeship is a big deal. Nobody gets left any openings. He gave us 142 openings. Thank you very much. What happened? They thought Hillary was going to win. So they didn't push it. And then they said, wait a minute, these polls are getting a little close at the end. And they tried like hell to get some judges approved, but it didn't work. That's what happens. You got to go and you have to act fast. You got to get it done. Get it done, right? Like we get things done like nobody's ever gotten it done. Oh, he was a great president. He was great. He left 142 judges for the Republicans. He was a great president, right? If you're of that side of the plate, if you're of that ideology, and you had a president that left you 142 federal judgeships, I don't think you rate him as doing a good job. Hey, look at what happened in Iraq. Look at what happened with ISIS. Look at what happened with our military. Look at what happened with our vets. Our vets are better taken care of now than they've ever been in the history of our country. But never forget, they are coming after me because I am fighting for you. And that's true. That's true. And we're winning the fight. And we're winning this election. This election, we are doing well. They refuse to say it. They refuse to say it, and they hate to say it. It just drives them crazy. But that night, remember, they started off by saying this will be a very short evening for Donald Trump. That was Donald Trump in those days. You know, now it's President Trump. I lost all my friends because of this position. I had friends, hey, Don, let's go to dinner. Okay, good, Richard, I'll go. Hey, Don, let's go. Okay, Larry, I'll see you later. We'll meet you at a restaurant in New York. Everybody was like nice and loose. You could have a great conversation. You don't want to know what we talked about. It's just none of your business. But we were loose. All of a sudden, I become president of the United States. And these are I know a lot of important people. Actually, the people I like the best are the people that are less successful because it makes you feel so powerful. I always say it. Never go out with a successful person. You understand? No, but I know a lot of very successful people. Very, very successful. And now they call me up. Mr. President, sir, would you like to get together sometime? I say, loosen up. Yes, call me Donald. You've known me for 30 years. Call me Donald. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate it. No, I lost all my friends because it's respect for the office. Let's face it. It's different. They used to be loose. They used to be great. You could sit back. I'm not a drinker, but you could sit back and have a drink. Whatever the hell you're drinking. And now you can't do that anymore. You can't do it anymore. So I have to rely on people in Congress to be my friends. And we just happened to have a couple tonight. And one of them who's been a great warrior, and he's doing a fantastic job. I just saw you on television, by the way, Brian. Does everybody know? Brian Style. Brian Style. Young, handsome, but a warrior. When the fake impeachment happened, it was a total fake. What do we finish up with the Republicans? 197 to nothing, right in the House. It was a fake impeachment. I got impeached over a perfect phone call of congratulations to the president of Ukraine, who I never met before. Okay? I mean, if you're going to do something, at least know him a little bit, right? I never met him. And then they said it was 8 times quid pro quo. That was Adam Schiff, Shifty Schiff, right? And he went before Congress, and he repeated my conversation, except that he made it all up. Remember, he repeated it. And then I said, fortunately, we had that. That whole thing essentially recorded. I'm glad I did. But these are very deceptive, deceiving, sick people. And I said, well, he lied because there was no quid pro quo. It was a perfect conversation. But by that time, it was too late because they had already embarrassed themselves by doing it. And Nancy Pelosi was all set. She loved doing it. She from day one. But she thought it was what Schiff said. When she saw the conversation, she said to her people, what the hell did you get me into? So they could have dropped it, but they said, let's give it a shot. So we won, and other than Mitt Romney, well, we lost a half a vote, right? He's another beauty. Mitt Romney, he's a real beauty. He couldn't get elected dog catcher right now in Utah. So we have another great one, and he's really a friend of mine, and he's been solid. He loves his country, and he loves his state. Glenn Grothman. Glenn, thank you very much, sir. And a man who just got elected, And he's from an area that I know very well. We did very well. We got him a big, fat, beautiful contract that produced lots of jobs. But he was taking a legend's place, so it's never easy to replace a legend. That's Duffy, in case anybody. And he was running, and we did a lot of work for him, and it was great, and he reacted very well under pressure. You know, a lot of people don't react well under pressure. They choke. They choke. He was under a lot of pressure, and he ended up winning by like 18 points. And now he's your congressman. He's doing a great job. You got to vote for all these people on November 3rd. Tom Tiffany. Thank you, Tom. And we have a great congressional candidate, Derek Van Orden. Where's Derek? Derek, good luck. I hear good things, Derek. Got my total support. I hear very good things. I can only support if I like. You know, our record's like 222-3. So I don't like to have a loss. And I support you 100%. You know that. You have my total endorsement, all right? I hear you're fantastic, right? And your former congressman, who I hope is making a lot of money in the private sector because he deserves it, especially his wife, Rachel, deserves it. She's fantastic. He's fantastic. Because I know he's coming back into government in some form. He can come with us. He can stay here. He can maybe run for governor, or maybe do something. Sean Duffy. Sean Duffy. No, but he was the world champion tree climber, and I love sports, right? Anytime you're the world champion in anything, but especially that. And I'll never forget, I was asking him about how was it? He said, well, he broke his back numerous times. He broke a lot of bones. I said, let me ask you a question. How much harder was it to go up the tree than down? He said it was easy going up. The hard part was coming down, because if he missed, that was where the danger was, right? That was where the danger. But many times world champion. Could you still do it today? A little bit heavier, he said. Gonna carry a little bit more weight. That's all right. That's not a good sign, though, right? Anyway, great job. We love having you, Rachel. Thank you very much. You are fans. Boxing friends and plenty of other places, right? What a personality. What a personality Rachel has. She's been our friend from day one. I think from day one. And a fantastic family, too. Tonight, we're all so praying for everyone in the path of Hurricane Sally. We're out there working very hard. We are working in Florida. In Alabama and Georgia, we have FEMA, we have everybody there. We just finished take a look. We just went to Louisiana, Texas. We're getting hit by some big hurricanes, but we have it under control really good. Our Coast Guard has been fantastic, by the way. Unbelievable, the bravery. They go into these storms. They go into these storms. They say, how dangerous is it, sir? It's very dangerous. They say, all right. He said, he said, would you like to try it sometime? I say, Admiral, no thank you. I'll take a pass. I think they might have a problem with me. Doing it, but I will tell you, they are, in Texas, they saved 16,000 people 2 years ago. The Coast Guard, U.S. Coast Guard. I think there's no brand, to me, that's gone up more than the U.S. Coast Guard. So it's great. Then we're getting them new ships. Those ships are all coming, and nice new ones are all built in the USA, beautiful ones. Most of them have already arrived. My administration will be by their side through every step. We're working again very, very hard in the Panhandle. The Panhandle, we love the Panhandle. It got hit hard. We spent the last 4 years reversing the horrible damage Joe Biden inflicted over the last 47 years. We passed record tax cuts and regulation cuts. Nobody's ever done more than anybody else has ever done.